Hi everyone. Is everyone going good? Okay, everyone, if I can have your attention, we're going to start the meeting. Just making sure that it's thanks. Are we live? Okay, everyone, this meeting is being recorded and we're going to head straight into the agenda. Okay, item number 1, apologies for absence.
We've had apologies this evening from councillors Butcher, Mrs. Bettison, Forster, Mrs. Forster, Panesar and Woodison.
Anyone else carry anyone else's apologies? No. Item number 2, members' interests. To receive any declarations of interest from members on the business to be transacted. Does anyone have any interests? Nope. Okie dokes. Okay, item number 3, minutes of Leisure Committee. To receive and confirm the minutes of the proceedings of the Leisure Committee held on the 18th of September 2025, pages 1792 to 1797 as a true and correct record. I would like to propose that. And could we vote? Is all in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? No. I think that's, oh, 1.
So.
I don't think it matters actually.
No, but
Still, okay. Okay, large events. Okay, to receive and update following the fireworks event. I do apologise, I've got a few things to say, so you'll probably get quite tired of my voice, but I will stand up for these. Okay, so Sandhurst hosted its annual fireworks night on the park, drawing an incredible crowd of over 10,000 attendees. The event was a resounding success, showcasing the very best of community spirit and entertainment. The fireworks display was truly superb, lighting up the night sky with a dazzling array of colours and choreography that captivated all ages. The funfair rides added an extra layer of excitement and joy, while a variety of food vans offered delicious options that were thoroughly enjoyed by all. This memorable evening would not have been possible without the outstanding efforts of our organising team. Special thanks go to Ange, Darcy and the entire crew for their dedication, professionalism and hard work in delivering such a well-run and enjoyable event. As Chair of Leisure and Deputy Mayor, I'm proud of what we achieved together and grateful to everyone who contributed to making this night so special for Sandhurst. I should say that's what I wrote for the magazine, which is why I read it out here if it sounds a bit formal, okay? Right. Agenda item 4B, to receive the below motion from Councillor Mrs. Lee Quigg. Given the amount of distress caused both to residents and their pets by the extremely loud unexpected explosions, wherever firework events are planned by Sandhurst Town Council, they will be low noise fireworks, usually limited to between 70 and 90 decibels or below. This is a decision item. Would you like to speak to this?
thank you. Yes, I agree. The fireworks evening's fabulous, and this is nothing not meant to detract from that in any way, shape, or form. Had many an enjoyable evening there. However, every fireworks year, and in fact, you know, for the weeks in the lead up to it, there are so many fireworks that go off, and that leads to a lot of distress. I was chatting over Facebook Messenger to one Sandhurst resident who has 3 dogs. You only have to go on the We Love Sandhurst Facebook page to see how many animals here in town, in our town, are really upset by it. So I thought it would be really nice if we could take the lead and think about using, they're called silent fireworks. They're not, no such thing as silent firework. It merely means that their decibels are reduced to usually 70 to 90 decibels. Professional displays in comparison are up to 175 decibels. And public fireworks that you can buy over the counter are 120 decibels. So asking our vendor to use quieter ones at 70 to 90, I think would certainly benefit our residents. And when you look at it, the PDSA says that 2.3 million dogs experience a fear of fireworks each year. The RSPCA receives thousands of calls each year related to fireworks that cause panic, escape, injury, and sadly, sometimes even death. Fireworks cause pets to bolt, and other animals such as livestock and wildlife are also affected. But there are also humans that are affected too, whether these are little children or veterans. If you look online, you may well have seen that the BBC carried a report on the 30th of October about an RAF veteran who unfortunately suffers from PTSD. And he talked about how fireworks would trigger in him very significant panic attacks. He was helped by the charity Combat Stress, and they provide specialist treatment and support for veterans from every branch of the military and theatre operation, focusing on those that have PTSD. And their medical director, Professor Catherine Kinane, says that she's highlighted the triggers, the sound of bangs, flashes, and black light can affect veterans with PTSD. And they certainly see a higher rate of distress in veterans accessing their services at this time of the year. So I appreciate that this is just one small step, and that there are many firework displays that go on, and there are many members of the public who will buy fireworks. But as I say, the thought was triggered by the amount of comments that there are every year, and there were around this year, around the number of fireworks going off, the distress that it's caused a lot of animals. And I thought if we could follow what some other councils have done and use quieter fireworks, I'm sure that would be welcomed by many residents. So that's the reason behind my motion, that in future, when we as a council have fireworks, whether it's the annual display or after the music event that we have, that we limit them to the quiet end between 70 and 90 decibels. And that's the motion.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, I'm going to say a couple of things first. Firstly, the RMA's fireworks display, we found out, is louder than Sandhurst Town's. And the other thing that I would say is that they also regularly have, even outside of fireworks, firing guns. I don't even know what they are, which does, as you say, cause dogs. Because I'm the very proud owner of two. One's a Dachshund and the other is a Romanian Rescue. And the Romanian Rescue is, nervous, particularly more of the gunfire, to be honest, than fireworks. It does come with an associated increased cost as well, I believe, with having this lower noise. I did like the idea that you raised previously about drones. I thought that was a good idea. The only issues that have come up with that have been around the weather, and that it's very difficult for too much money, but also it is difficult if it's windy, and Christ, if one of them fell and hit someone, it would be a disaster. The other thing that we've looked at is that last year, a lot of people that had the low noise have now switched back to the sort of higher noise. Now, from my point of view, I am really, really proud of the Sandhurst fireworks display. I know from a lot of people that it's considered to be the finest in the area, certainly the finest free firework display. I'm incredibly proud, and I'll talk later about community and how in this day and age, I feel that community is almost becoming less and less as more people are staying in, they're online, not going out. So I see this as a fantastic social event, and I would be nervous about something like this. I wouldn't want to kind of rock the boat here. I feel it's a very good event. So from my point of view, Lee, I won't be supporting the motion.
Point of order. Can we have a seconder, please?
A second.
Thank you.
Then can we ask some questions?
Go for it.
Can I respond to you?
Well, We're now in debate, so
Yeah,
I'll pick it up.
Just nearly to say, I too have dogs. One of them couldn't give a monkeys about fireworks. We back onto the firing range. They've both, from puppies, grown up with the firing range. And all the noises that come out from there, neither of them were bothered by it. One of my dogs, incredibly distressed by fireworks, the other one. So I think there are animals that will be affected by gunfire, not affected by fireworks, and vice versa, just to your point.
Sorry, we are in debate, Chairman, and the mover of the motion has already spoken.
Okay.
To
I did
the
ask.
motion.
But I hadn't seconded the motion.
And,
That's okay. Ask your question.
Go on.
well, I'd like to know, and perhaps the executive officer could help, how many was in the post and in the comments made. There's been a lot of people have complained. Now, have we, or do we
I've
get?
had no formal complaints about the work, the noise of the fireworks.
So that is an important point that I just thought I needed to find out about. Okay, and the other one is that you partially mentioned, Chairman, when the RMA kick off with the gunfire, do we get advised in advance? I don't think we do, but I'm just
On occasion, we do if they've got a planned big exercise, but
Okay.
very, very rarely. No, they just also.
okay. No,
They have
fine.
no
Thank you.
obligation to tell us.
I'll speak later. Those are my questions. Thank you, Chair.
Do we know the current noise level of the fireworks that we are using?
Yes, so we have around 40 shells fired. We're already on the low side, and the Star Fireworks who we use actually do supply the RMA as well. So that's how the comparison has been done with their noise to ours. And their launching point is 250 metres away from the main road, and the noise at the main road is 90 decibels.
We're on the top level of what you're suggesting anyway. Answers it.
Just on a point of information, I live fairly close to where the RMA fireworks displays are. They are definitely louder than the firing range where I live, which is not far away from my colleague. But I do have, and I've received conversations about it over the years. My neighbour has rescue greyhounds, and she's commented on it that it's the unusual events rather than the regular events that cause them the most distress. That's what it is.
Ali.
I'll share that I have an autistic son who's grown up now, but I also have a lot of friends in the community that have children with additional needs. And I think quite a lot of them find it quite difficult, especially those that can't understand where the noise is coming from and what it's all about. And I wonder too if there's an opportunity here, given that we've just had the wonderful celebration we've had, to canvass residents and ask their opinion in a formal way through the municipal.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any other questions? John.
Yeah, we all want to, reduce suffering for pets. I think that'd be important and for people. But what we're talking about here is a 10-minute display once a year.
15.
And
Longer.
okay, 15. A 15-minute display once a year where residents get a lot of notice. So they can prepare, they can put music on in the house, they can take their dogs out if needs be. As we said, the fireworks are already noticeably quiet. My kids actually said, these are really quiet this year, and I took their ear defenders off. So I don't think it's actually a problem in the first place. It's really cherished by the community. And the problem, actually, which you alluded to in your opening statement, was the lead up to bonfire night and afterwards. And it's the private displays which is the problem. And the way to get over private displays is to have good public displays so people don't feel they have to have them. So although this might be well intentioned, this motion, I actually think the outcome is going to be the reverse. It's going to be more private displays, but people want the big bangs, and actually the publishing is going to get worse. So I think we should vote against.
Thanks. I was concerned with the post I saw on Facebook, which about your plan to put. And what concerned me was a couple of the responses said, yes, please, this will help, and it's a start. Now, what is it a start of, councillor? Because if it's a start of playing down just about anything that upsets people, then we're on a bit of a road that I don't want to go down. So that it's a start. It begs the question, well, what next? What do we have to stop doing because somebody is upset? Now, I'm as concerned as the rest of you are about those people that do get upset by fireworks and noise per se. But I'm going along with other members, the RMA and the gunfire. I go and I wait for my grandson at the school there at Sandhurst school, and I'm sitting there, and it's close and it's loud, and I see the people walking their dogs around, nothing going down, no problems with that. There's another thing that also makes people jump, and we don't mention it very often, but Minley, the barracks at Minley, the Royal Engineers with their explosive ordnance disposal, some of those bangs really do wake you up, and they're not too careful about what time of the morning that they kick it off as well. So we as a community live in a world where unexpected noise is to be expected because of the nature of our neighbours. And the things I always remember when the RMA come and do speeches, they always apologise for being our noisy neighbours, etc. So I'm also interested in the fact that we give lots of notice. Everybody knows that around the 5th of November, they're going to have to take extra care, either with their loved ones or with their animals, etc. And that rather than just let's damp down the noise level, etc., let's try and get people to take control of their own circumstances a little bit more. And I think that's important. The amount of time we've heard mentioned that the Sandhurst one actually goes on for, and the measured impact that we've heard, right, isn't the 120, 150, 170 decibel stuff that you hear with the private organised parties. We've got an actual measured notice that 90 decibels, right? So from that, I'm also saying, is that as critical as the motion suggests? So I'm proud of the firework display. One of the things when I'm out talking to people that they tell us about is this council puts on some pretty damn good events, and we do it for them. And I've got to tell you, nobody nobody that I has spoken to has ever told me that we need to damp down the volume of our firework display. So clearly, I'm either talking to the wrong people, but I'm knocking on my residents' doors. Compliment us on the firework display. If we were to go out and do that consultation that was suggested, I'm absolutely certain that we would get an overwhelming majority of people saying it's a well-run event, it's a well-supported event, and the extent of its impact, whilst on some we know will always be a bit of a problem, but the joy it brings to so many people and the importance of it in our calendar, not just as Sandhurst, but nationally as a celebration of historical events. I don't think damping it down is the right idea. If we can add to it, whatever other ideas can add to that value and encourage more people not to have their own private ones, then I'll support that. I won't support this.
Does anyone else have any? Oh, yes, Ben.
So throughout the season, fireworks season, should we say, you pick up the trend on social media. All know, pet owners, concerned parents of children, and the volume of posts expressing discontent increases over and over and over again. I think we're quite unusual here in the UK in that we do allow private firework displays. In Europe, for example, in the Netherlands, you're not allowed to go out to anywhere and buy your own fireworks. You have to have publicly licensed firework operations. And I think what Lee's motion is speaking to, maybe trying to take the lead in showing a bit of compassion towards those that have, other needs or things we have to take care of and consider, rather than it's noisy everywhere. Let's do it.
Right to the
Yeah.
MP.
And
Yes.
I mean, hey, when I was younger, I think you were only allowed fireworks on 2 days of the year, New Year's and bonfire night, but I might have made that up. But I don't think people are necessarily not treating people with compassion with this event. I think
No, I don't think so. But it's the whole period, and it's a tricky issue, and it's bigger than just this event. Let's not say it's this event and anyone's blaming this event. Everyone's very appreciative of it.
It's an opportunity.
It's just an opportunity to say, could we lead, show an example?
have you had a question?
Yes, just listening to Councillor Birch, so it sounds like he's very confident on the residents' viewpoint. But I think none of us can sit here and actually speak to that unless we ask residents, and that's our job, isn't it, to consult with people in the community for their views.
Last question. Or
I'm just again making a point. If our display is limited to 90 decibels, this is not actually a motion asking it to be suppressed. It's to be kept at that level.
I reply then.
That was the last question.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So let me reiterate, because I think that some people
Summing up.
didn't actually listen to what I said at the beginning. When I said this is nothing to do with the actual quality of the firework display, nor how well it is managed, nor the tremendous value that our community puts on it. It is nothing to do with that at all. And I recognise that and I applaud it. This is about, as Ben said, and as Ali said, this is about recognising that fireworks cause distress to a great many people within our community. And this is showing a kindness to them. It is showing a consideration to them and a recognition that not everybody can sit there and enjoy them for what they are. And in answer to your query, Councillor Birch, to the comment on Facebook, what next? This is a start. I'm afraid I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what that person was thinking.
But you
My
you
summation,
summed up, so. I
My-
assume you
my-
did.
my assumption is that they have challenges with fireworks and they would hope that this is a start that maybe many others would follow. But I don't know who they are, but I merely agreed with them. I hope it's a start. I would love it if other councils adopted it. I think it is showing a kindness and a consideration to our residents, and that's all that was behind the motion.
Okay,
Progression.
excellent. Okay, let's have a vote. All in favour of the motion? Okay, and all against? Any abstain?
So
anyone
it's
abstain?
just there from their nods, from the residents. I'm pretty sure I did.
What happened? Sorry?
I'm pretty sure someone in the residents said they're nods.
I heard nothing.
Right.
Okay, okay.
Could be wrong.
They've obviously met me before then, sorry.
Nothing either. We're not allowed to speak.
Okey dokes, right, so on,
Sorry, what was the result? Because that got diverted.
oh, the result was
Motion sold.
for denied,
That's fine.
sorry, I thought that was clear, right, okay, agenda item number 5, and enough, sorry, item number 5. This is something which I've put on the agenda and I prepared something which I'm going to read out. It applies to social media, but also generally to council meetings, I think, as well. So, but I'm going to start here. So I want to speak briefly about something that affects not just this council, but the wider community we serve, how we use social media. Recently, and by the way, sorry, before I carry on, I should say this is not aimed at any one person or party or anything. This is generally for all of us, myself included. But anyway, recently, some posts made by members of this council have caused distress, not just because of the tone, but because of the content. Statements that are misleading and in some cases, insinuations of corruption that are entirely unfounded. Let me be clear, disagreement is healthy, debate is essential, but when we cross the line into personal attacks or spread misinformation, we don't just hurt each other, we damage the trust that residents place in this council. This bit applies to members of staff, but also, we are all unpaid volunteers. We give our time because we care about Sandhurst. That shared commitment deserves respect, even when we disagree. So I ask all of us, before we post, share, or comment, pause and consider, is this fair? Is it true? And what impact might it have on others? Because stirring up division online might feel satisfying in the moment, but it can have lasting consequences on individuals, on reputations, and on the community we're here to serve. Let's hold ourselves to a higher standard. Let's model the kind of respectful, constructive dialogue that Sandhurst deserves. Okay. Right. Moving on to leisure item number 6. Leisure enhancements in the Memorial Park. To receive an update on the project. This is a vision item, so.
It was a decision item just in case anything else came through from the contractors this week. But it's just to notify everyone that the new design has been agreed by the working group. So you'll recall that in the private session of the leisure meeting, you were shown the designs, and while we chose the favoured contractor, however, the design for the piece that's going to go up onto the top of the hill, we wanted a slight rejig because it was felt that it was aimed at younger children rather than older children. So that piece of work has now been done and has all been passed through the working group. I have a contracts, we've signed the contract, but a pre-work site meeting next week just to run through some things, and you'll have noticed that work has begun by the slide being removed. So that's the first step. We've had to remove it quite early because the slide, the ground and the steps have been removed and have to be grass seeded ready so that we've got the right base, because the base is going to be natural for the new piece of equipment. So it needs several months to grow, particularly as it's not quite the right time of year for grass growing. So that's all in hand. And I suspect, I don't know for sure, but I suspect that the work will begin on the lower playground first, and that the new showpiece will probably be the last piece to go in. But I'll have some more information on timings, but we're looking early spring at this time, but that's not set in stone.
Marvellous. Any questions, anything at all? I mean, there's no decision as such. Fabulous. Okay, agenda item number 7, outside toilets, to receive costings further to resolution 3721 following a request from the Sandhurst Sports Club for us to close the outside toilets at a later time in the summer months. Okay, this is a decision item, so is that right? Yes. Yes. So Annex 1, does anyone have any comments, queries, questions?
I think it's totally valid, to be fair. But, you know, the summer months, the park's busy till later. I think it makes total sense.
Does it need to be costed into the budget for next year? We agree?
Yeah, well, meant to be, yeah. And you need to think about how you're going to do it, because obviously the discussions in the last meeting were around if we're going to do it, are we going to do it every day? Oh, because there were several options presented, so it's deciding which option it's going to be. And also we've not got
Clear.
Liz here today, who was going to provide some feedback around the fob entry system as well. So we've not got all
I
the
think she put something
information.
in her report that to go to you
No, there's nothing in here about that.
at the bottom that she said that she's still looking. It's still on the list to look at.
There's nothing about the fobs. She's put something about CCTV.
So it's easy to.
She's put nothing on here about fobs. No.
Okay, is there a motion that anybody wants to actually put? Yeah.
Should we defer this until we do get the information, because it doesn't seem right to be voting on something now when we don't have the alternative options of fobs and stuff like that. So without that information, I think it makes it very difficult to just plunge in and say we're going to sign up to 540 quid a month over the summer months.
That's whatever.
I mean, that's worst case scenario, isn't it? But yeah, I get what you're saying.
But budgeting forwards, we don't know
Yeah, you're
how many days we're budgeting for, because no one's actually said how many evenings we're going to do in the across that time. So yeah, I suppose the worst case is we're going to do 7 days a week.
Could it be then through the school holidays and weekends?
You can find this summer.
I think we're
As an
there isn't.
initial.
Chairman, can we await a proposal?
Yeah, I think we've got to be
That's a valid, that during school holiday, that's a valid point. Let's eliminate too much of the what ifs. And if we can get an actual proposal that says, on these days, we do that, on those days, we do this, the cost is that.
I think we've had a proposal from councillor Allen.
I would like to propose that we actually defer this to the next meeting
Yeah.
when Liz can come back and actually give us
Secondly,
more information on the faults, because without that information, we can't really make a decision.
second,
I think, and we have got a bit of time because obviously it's not
Yeah.
until the summer months. So
Yeah, but you've got to put it in the budget, which means you have to
Oh.
make a decision in January.
okay, all right,
we've got a meeting before then.
okay. Okay, so let's have a vote then. Who votes to defer it? All in favour?
Good.
Yeah. It's unanimous. I think. Okay. Marvellous. Benches in the Memorial Park to receive a request from a resident for a plaque for a chatting bench in the Memorial Park. So if you look at Annex 2, we have had a request forwarded to us, I believe, by the committee to have a chatting bench in the park. The cost would be a slack of around, it would be about £40. I mean, yeah, I mean, do you want to propose it? I mean, I think it's a great idea. I don't see it.
Yes.
Can we just ask a question? Because,
Yeah, ask a question.
well, how many benches do we have? How many do we have that already have a
Platform.
on them? And are some, because the reason why I'm asking the question, I thought some of the benches were put there by other members of the public and etc. So can I just have a quick, I'm not getting, I'd
I
like.
don't know the answer as to how many have got plaques and how many haven't, but what I do know is that every bench from a member of the public has a plaque on it.
Right.
So
that's
we
what I
won't
was-
be putting something on someone else's
That's fine.
bench. Any that haven't got them on have been put there by Sandhurst Town.
That's all I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
And we also, some years ago, because of we had a large number of requests for plaques on benches, we actually put a policy in place that we would
Correct.
stop doing any more.
Yes.
But in this particular case, it's not a plaque for someone, it's just a plaque that says it's a chatty bench,
Yeah.
which I think doesn't, it's flipped by that policy.
Yeah.
Right.
that's the
I'd just like to say, make a comment. I think it's a great idea because I come from an area where you talk to somebody if you've only known 5 minutes. Here it takes a little bit longer, doesn't it? So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to second it.
Yes,
You proposed
You
it.
proposed it, seconded it, yeah. Does anybody, I mean, does anybody want to speak to it? Any questions? No?
Good idea.
Right.
Can I just ask them what the wording is going to be on?
Oh,
that?
yeah.
I mean, we can take that offline, but if we can
Yeah.
have suggestions.
Yeah.
Suggestions would be good, and also I guess which bench.
bench.
So
as well.
set a time limit on chatting.
5 minutes.
Not when you're there, Neil. Not when you're there. Comfy.
The sign will have to be much longer.
Don't, come and talk to us about the neighbourhood plan, that'll be it.
A deep birch and you've got half an hour.
Nikki, just in your proposal, are you happy to amend, so that we can actually take a vote that this committee are happy to allow myself and Nikki to liaise and agree the wording and the position of the bench? Otherwise, it's going to have to come back to leisure in January.
Yeah.
Simple. Support the amendment to the motion.
Change that.
So propose that I'll discuss with Ange for the
Actually, can we have the
Etc.
chair of ledger also included in that, in the positioning of it,
Yeah,
please?
probably okay.
Thank you.
Is that right?
Okay, yeah.
and that'd be to look at which bench,
Yeah.
etc. There's no point putting one.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
But it's miles away. It must have been as near to some of the main
Yeah.
entrances. Are you still happy to second that, Lee, or does that put you off?
Yeah, sorry, I had a mouthful of water.
Right. Okay, all in favour? Any against? Any abstaining? No. Right. Okay. Item number 9, pump track, to receive a suggestion for us to consider the installation of a pump track in the Memorial Park, Annex 3. Okay. Has everyone had a chance to read this? Are they like me? Which my first question was, what is a pump track?
Seen them before.
But to those that don't know, it is basically a bike track where they sort of use a pumping motion to go around and do tricks and things like that. I understand. So I assume everyone's read the annex. Throw it open for questions, suggestions, ideas. Nick, I saw your hand go up.
2 quick questions. Where on earth would we put it? And secondly, where are we going to get the money from? That's a lot of money.
Actually, someone did have an interesting idea.
150k. It just seems, yeah, I'm not even sure there's left in the still budget. So
No idea.
that's right. So yeah, it's a lot of money.
Chairman,
Hang on a second, I just,
Sorry, Karen.
there was,
there was a paper put round afterwards that has the.
yeah, there was also
Yes,
this
which
on
the next steps, number 3.
50.
I will just highlight though that Bracknell are currently doing this and it's cost them over 150k.
Right.
We're in the motion of doing that in Mill Park. Yeah.
It's
Not that far away, is it?
No, but I don't have a comparison, so I don't know. I know roughly the sizings, but I don't know what materials, etc., that they use. to get there.
so,
And then there are also
nice, just a second, quiet, sorry.
there are also some suggestions that there may be some grant funding, etc., from various people that could be explored.
Okay, just to come back to you, Nick. Earlier I met Ange about several items. This was one, and actually Ange raised a potential good idea to the, because my first question was where would we put it, and possibly Owlsmore Park was quite an interesting suggestion. But the costing is obviously still there. Did everyone receive the more in detail? No, I mean, the lady that put this together is superb, and on the face of it, for my personal, it sounds like a brilliant idea. My concern was exactly what Nick said. Where does it go and how much does it cost? But it is something of interest. Sorry, I saw there was a question. Did you have a question, Ben?
No, I think I put my hand up initially to say
Exactly.
I'd taken the time to watch a video. What the heck is this? Looked interesting. I think for anyone that's a fan of biking in general, it seemed like it would offer something to them. A lot of cycling enthusiasts nearby.
Or should I declare an
I
interest?
think, no, definitely not, because nobody should ever have to see you in your Lycra. That is a horrendous experience. But
I think before, it's on as a decision item, and it is a lot of money for that. I think we would have to, if you look at, we did the public consultation for the large spend in the park, and
The decision today is whether we explore or whether we just say no, it's not valid.
because in her details there, she said she'd be happy to share findings from the residents, and I was quite interested because she'd said that she done some surveys with people, sent some surveys out.
I mean, the one thing I will say is obviously growing up around here, because those I've been here 43 years. Taking my bike up, we always used to ride to the woods, and there were set areas that we knew had bumps and everything. And also the skate park is great, but it's not really set up for that sort of BMX style
You've also got
stuff.
big thing up at Bratton.
Swindon.
Yes,
Swinley Forest.
Bit of a pain to get that. You have to get a permit, license and stuff like that. You can't just turn up and go these days.
But I'm kind of with Ben on this. I do think it's good and I am interested in it, but then I had the next question of where and how much, but I guess that's something we would then further look at.
Can we just not, can we propose that we at least look at it?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Mike. you've got a
It's interesting, I think, in some ways to explore it further, because I see, in fact, I concur what you say. The report that's been submitted is a very, very detailed and very informative. There appear to be two contractors who can provide the necessary installations, and they're not far away: Basingstoke, Alton, Farnborough, Fleet, and Reading. Be interesting to find out maybe from one or two of those councils how the funding came from. Was it from Natural England, or was it the sports associations, or whatever? Because what I quite like about this idea, if I understand it correctly, it's actually on the periphery of the location as opposed to cutting across. So I think in terms of opportunities, to get children out on their bikes, I know Tibbet Wood very well, and unfortunately what they did, and I can understand the enthusiasm for it, but they dug it up and actually created their own mounds and their own jobs, which was it was antisocial in some ways, because it's land that is protected. So I think it's worth exploring rather than saying no. I think there's an opportunity to establish if we can take it forward.
Does anybody else have any comments, questions, queries? Yes, Lee.
My only comment, not a question or query, is that I think it's really a positive potential. I don't think there's enough here for the youth in terms of sort of teenagers who may be more inclined to use it. So I think it'd be a really nice idea if we could look at it to see whether it is feasible, to do a bit more digging so that we've got a firmer idea of costs and potential location.
Can I propose just that we examine the proposal in more detail
Yeah, we'll go on.
in order to answer the questions we've had?
I'll second that.
All in favour? Any against? Any abstains? No, marvellous. Yeah, I do think that's good. Right. Okay. Right. The Leisure Committee budget planning. To receive any suggestions from the Leisure Committee members that they would like to be considered in the budget plans for the next financial year. Annex 4, which for some reason I can't seem to find. Oh, no, don't worry. Okay. So. Does anyone have anything apart from the pump track?
I've got one question and one suggestion. Just on page 1, income 3183, just wondering why that's not normally included with the cafe income.
Line are you looking at, Billy?
3183.
3183. Page 1.
Well, they each have their own line, because the cafe income is the cafe income.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's not in.
yes. No, it has its own section outside of this.
Wouldn't this go in the same section? 3.
Sorry, no, they each have, it has a separate line, which doesn't come into leisure. It's historically, it is just under other costs, because the cafe used to be run by STC, but it does have a separate line. So if you look at the full income and expenditure that you were given in town council, it is on there.
Yeah, but not under leisure.
No,
I was just wondering why this one isn't under leisure.
it is under leisure.
No, I mean, why it isn't.
Why the cafe isn't?
Well, if there's a reason for the cafe not to be, shouldn't this one be under the same section as the cafe?
Well, it can easily be moved out, but it's a leisure income. As I explained, the cafe used to be an STC entity
but-
and has never been moved into leisure.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the leisure is for residents of Sandhurst and clubs that are serving Sandhurst residents, whereas this is a commercial company. It's not.
No, it's leisure income.
It's not a resident. Well, how do you classify it as leisure when it's a commercial company, the same as the cafe?
It's a valid point.
I mean,
It
it just seems to be in the wrong category because its nature has changed in the last 2 years.
The trouble is, if you move it out, you reduce the income.
its
But-
nature hasn't changed.
A true picture of leisure income.
It's not a commercial entity either. It's a charity.
Is it registered charity?
Yes,
And does it
it's a
serve?
CIC.
Does it serve the residents of Sandhurst?
Yes, massively.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then,
Absolutely.
It absolutely massively benefits. the
That's
residents.
that's what I wanted to hear.
Okay, great. Let me
So
tell
I'm-
you, 'cause
I'm-
I'm
I'm in
getting a
support
bit
of it.
tired
Yeah.
of the football club being framed into this negative demon thing. We should be absolutely proud to have this club. 1,000 children play there and train there. When's that?
Let's just
I object to this because
let's just hold
there
there.
are very clear political allegiances. We know
Yep.
that the football club is being
Well, let's-
reformed.
Hang on,
So I
Lee,
don't think-
Lee as well, please. I'm going to talk about the football club in a minute. Very good question, Phil, but it's
I'm going to withdraw it at this point, if I may.
you may.
I would like to make one suggestion on page 2. I think it's on page 2. No, it's at the extended page 1. Footpaths on Park Reserve is at £237.
Yeah.
That's 9201. Should we not have a reserve for maintenance of paths?
yeah, I mean, we have had in the past and we've spent.
That's the
it,
balance.
Yeah,
That's the balance here. So normally you'd shut that down and replace it with the same.
that's not how this.
Inflated reserve.
works. It's,
Sorry?
yeah,
Well, I'm
accounting
proposing a
system-
new reserve precisely because prices would have gone up.
It would be added to this line, because
Yeah.
that's how this works. So it wouldn't be new, it would be added to that line.
Well,
Yeah, that's exactly the sort of thing that
That's right.
suggestions
Yeah.
that we will be, today is thinking about ideas, and then in January, obviously, as a committee,
Can't
you
suggest a
will
figure.
decide what you want to take
Yeah.
forward.
but it's just for you to suggest a figure for that, please.
I can't suggest any figures. It depends what you want to do. But I don't make the decisions, I don't
No, we
advise.
can make a decision, but we do need a suggestion.
Well, it depends what you want to do, because
Well,
if you don't want to mend any footpaths, then £237 is fine. If you've got a plan to mend footpaths in Ellesmere or wherever who already have their own line, then you need to have a rough idea of what you want to do, so
I
that
think
it's costing.
in view of the rate of deterioration of paths and the weather we're getting and the inflationary increase in costs, we should have a 10% increase to the previous.
What you can do, and what we certainly do for maintenance of the car park, is have a rolling amount each year that we add to it, and we just keep it in there for in case of need. So when we need to restructure, resurface, etc., it's there. So that is another option that you could consider.
Well, that was my proposal anyhow. If nobody wants to second it.
I'll second it.
So what is the actual proposal?
How much do you want in the put in there?
Do you wish me to repeat myself?
No, no much.
From the beginning,
How much?
no.
No. The proposal was a one-liner.
Yeah, go for the proposal.
That is that we put in a reserve for the same amount as the previous reserve plus 10%
For,
inflation
for,
Cost.
no, I mean,
For the path.
for the paths,
for the paths.
for the footpaths repairs.
All I'm talking about is footpaths.
9201 is
And,
all
and seconded by Lee. Lex. Would anyone like to speak to that or have any questions?
Can I just say that's literally then £23?
No, the actual expenditure that was originally provided for. Because it wasn't £237 originally.
Current annual was 237. It
Your-
says
No, that's the balance brought forward from the remaining.
But it was spent this year.
So
No,
your request was to take the existing reserve and add 10%.
No, the reserve that was originally made before the 237 was left was a balance.
Okay.
I don't even, I'll have to look back at what that was because it was several years ago.
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
So if it's,
Bring it back in.
so it's 50,000, then you'll want 50,000 put back in.
If that's what all the paths cost, that's the reserve. It can stay there for 20 years.
There's a difference between when the paths were put in originally, they would have costed, because we had some put in the last few years, they cost a lot of money to put in, that this was the residual from that reserve from putting the footpaths in. It's not the repair bill. That comes out of a different pot.
Thank you very much, councillor. That is exactly what I needed to know. Thank you. So I can withdraw my proposal. Thank
So
you.
if you're saying it comes out from a different pot.
No, yes, and it's maintenance.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's maintenance. We'll just make sure that we have the right maximum.
Yeah, it comes, the footpaths were maintained out of a different pot. That is, I think that almost we could probably get rid of that next year and just put it into general reserve or something, because it's noise.
Yes.
If there's nothing proposed that suggests we need.
The new footpath. If you need new footpath, then you would
I
have
hadn't
that.
realised it was a new. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's sorted.
Yep,
Can I ask a question?
you may.
Angie, you want to explain these summer of fun costs? Is there a,
Yeah. So summer of fun income, as you're all aware, there are 7 summer of fun events because Bracknell holds 2. So the 6 parishes and towns pay for some things as a lump sum to get reductions. So I always arrange the inflatables and the entertainment side. So I pay for it and then invoice them and they pay me back. So we have a summer of fun income line, which goes alongside the summer of fun expenditure line. So it may well look like we've hugely overspent, but if you look at the top, we actually haven't.
it just makes it look silly?
Yeah, that's the only way that we can do it.
Okay. So any other questions, comments at all from anyone? This is where
Well, that was what the whole item was about, yes.
Yes. So shall I talk about the potential park?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to potentially talk about something, if that's okay. And I would like us to consider, before, you may remember, and again, the residents probably weren't here, that I actually asked about possible parking solutions. And one of the areas that I looked at was over by the cafe. And I would potentially like to budget for looking at that area and actually putting the parking there. I don't think we have to officially agree to anything now, do we? But I would certainly like us to consider turning that area into an additional parking.
Could you be more specific?
Yeah.
Area, please.
Right.
Yeah, so it's the bit by it's
By the skate
by the
park.
skate park, by where
Oh, yeah.
by where the cafe's there, and then there's that sort of unused area.
Where the Christmas trees used to be dumped. I was going to say backing onto the recycling bin.
Yeah, where the recycling bins, because I looked at it the other day, and I mean, I'm not a fan of the recycling bins being there, but I'm told they can't go anywhere else because the world will end. But I just think that there's quite a lot of extra parking that we could get there, so I would like
You have to look at the tree protection of the oak tree.
well, that's part of this. Sorry, I'm gonna go. I think Nick, you had your hand up first. and
Okay,
then-
in which case, if you wanted to go in next year's budget, you're going to have it costed by January, having worked out whether you can actually put car parking there, because of the tree roots, etc., and how many spaces you're going to get. Because if it's only 3 spaces, then it's probably not going to be cost
worth
effective.
it, but if it's a lot more, then I'm gonna go
Yeah.
Chris and then Lee.
Yeah, did we have a report on this, looking at the
feasibility of it. When was it that the area that you're proposing is actually sort of a landing area for if they come off those tracks, that you couldn't put a fence or anything there, it would be dangerous to do that. If you didn't put a fence there, they could end up landing on people's cars. That seems to be the.
No, we didn't get a report.
Yeah, we did from the escaping, from the
It wasn't
escape.
a report, was it?
Well, it was, yeah,
It was a comment.
yeah, okay, but it was from someone with expertise in this who understands these things, and it made a lot of sense that it would be unsafe to put a barrier there because they came off a bike or a skateboard or whatever it was and smashed into the wall. That would be dangerous for the.
I agree. So part of the feasibility would be looking at how close you could go to, obviously
Hey, it didn't leave very much space there at all.
Can't they just hit another ramp? Do you know what I mean? They can fall off a ramp and hit one of the other ramps.
Well, it's designed in a
No,
way.
because there'll always be an end. So it's how far from the end of the skate park.
No. He means they can fall off and hurt themselves anyway.
Hit one of the other ramps.
The cost of the paddy.
I don't think it was an official report. Is what I mean.
Chairman?
Yes.
Sorry.
Suggestion,
Sorry,
it's just.
excuse me.
As if you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. Lee was next.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Sorry. This is just a discussion under the finance for what potentially might go into the budget to create, you're looking at creating approximately how many spaces and for,
You don't know because it's not, the feasibility hasn't been looked at, but.
and are
I'm
you
surprised-
thinking for general park usage or?
Yes,
Parking.
yes. Just because,
Sorry,
They'll end up parking there for the football.
that's why I was asking.
well, it's not specifically aimed at the football. It's aimed for general
It's always full.
park. You know, over by Palms Cafe is quite often full. So I've always thought that there could be more parking there. Sorry.
If you're going to look for feasibility within that, then turning the skate park through 90 degrees might be an option.
Sounds terribly expensive.
Yes.
See what the look on next table is all about.
It's something,
But can I just remind you, we're not here to discuss, are we doing it, how are we doing it, etc. We're here to discuss whether it's something that you would like to look at a little bit further with a consideration of the budget. Because we can always set a budget, and if it's then not feasible, that budget is taken away.
And
But if there's no budget in the first place, then
we can't
obviously
do
it's
it.
not.
So I
going
would
to
like
be.
to propose that we at least set a budget so that we can look at it, see if it's feasible. If it's not, there may be a covenant on that area of land. I don't know.
I believe there is.
No,
I'd like to second that.
that bit's
You'll second it?
inside.
Oh, thank you, Phil. Okay, I think
So how much?
I'm happy. Well, it's a good question, but we don't know. because
You
we
don't have to come up with that yet.
You don't have to come up
because
with
we've
that
got
yet.
Till January.
Yeah,
Okay,
so we don't,
support that.
yeah, I haven't got a figure. I don't know how many spaces. It is just an idea at the moment. So thank you, Phil.
Let's put some flesh on it.
Can I ask for all those in favour, unless anyone else has any other questions? No? All in favour? All in favour? Okay.
Hang on,
Hang on.
Just
All
get
in
your hands
favour,
up.
hands up.
In favour. Okay.
And all against? And any abstain? It's passed, yes. Very much.
Is there something to think about for updating any of the play equipment at Alsmore Park? Is that worth putting some money in the budget?
Is
Already,
is there some in there already?
I thought, was there some left over from the large
No, there
expenditure?
was
Which you then,
I know there was a
No,
thing about the
there's
table
yeah,
tennis.
the table tennis table's been agreed to go in there.
Okay, sorry, confusing.
Yes, no, there was nothing under that project for Ellsmore. That was a separate item.
Yeah.
So no, there's nothing specifically set by for Ellsmore at the moment. We have just the play equipment budget. So unless there's something specific.
Yeah.
So that is a lot newer because there was quite a big project done there a few years ago, certainly in my time here. So that's been revamped far more recently than our one here.
And you're potentially looking at a pump track up there as well, so.
In 5 years, he's not saying us, will probably be one or the other.
Wasn't my decision, Nick? Is that what you're going to be?
Do we need to,
As a fallback, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll second that.
do we need to provisionally put that pump track in then as a budget thing for next year?
No, we don't.
Or rather than a pump track, put it as a spend item, then it's not that specific, then it could be.
Well, we'd agreed to look at it, but we haven't put anything in the budget for it, have we?
Well, actually,
You have got January's meeting to do then.
Do it in January.
Until Jan.
So another idea, if Nikki's coming up with the idea for Ellsmore, then you need to think of the price you want for January's meeting so that you can, as a committee, agree it or not.
So did you want to propose that?
Yeah, happy to propose that.
Second, okay, so do you want to kind of officially verbal?
To look and put in a set figure of January.
For improvements to Ellsmore.
For improvements.
Okay, and seconded by councillor Quick. Okay, right, all in favour? Any against?
Me,
Oh,
it's not that long since we did it. Put all new equipment in.
anyone abstaining? Right. Okay, excellent. Does anyone else have any budget items that they want to raise? I'm looking around and thinking no, and we can move on to the scary agenda item on the list. The SB group. Okay, so this is an information item. So I prepared something to read out. I would very much ask people not to make comments, questions, or anything like that. By all means, after the meeting, whatever, but just during this, because again, there is quite a lot of, say, interest in this item. So I'll read this out and then we will move on.
Are you specifically saying that no councillor can make a comment after you've spoken?
I'm saying we will move on to the next item.
So you are specifically banning any councillor from speaking after you've made your speech?
Is that
It's the chair's decision.
the chair's decision?
You should be able
Go
to
on.
question you.
Yeah,
You should be able to answer questions.
okay, all right, I will, yeah.
I've got the answer.
People can ask questions. What I'm very keen is to step away from all of the negativity and the animosity which has been developing around this. So,
I don't know what you're going to say, whether I want to say anything. I just wanted to be clear from the outset as to what you were specifically stating.
Should we have the statement? And take
yeah, let's have the statement and then people can say and do whatever they like, shall we say?
Within the rules.
Well, hey, people can do what they like. Okay, but I do want to stress that, you know, there seems to be an awful lot of animosity around this particular topic. So also talk to the residents because I can see that a lot of you have come here tonight. Okay, I'd like to talk about Bracknell Town Football Club and its presence here in Sandhurst alongside Sandhurst Town FC. Now, for a while, there has been negativity stirred up around the club, mostly about parking and noise. These concerns are valid and deserve attention, but they've often been amplified in a way that feels less about solutions and more about division. A meeting was recently arranged with the club's chairman, Kane, to address issues raised by Councillor Nicky Coppins. This is standard practice to give any club on the park the opportunity to address issues in such a meeting. Now, unfortunately, Nicky and Councillor Lee Quigg were not able to attend. They declined to attend. And for me, that was a missed opportunity, because when we did meet, we had a very productive conversation. We discussed coaches parking, reports of abuse near the barriers, and vehicles driving across the park. Now, the club made it absolutely clear: anyone found guilty of giving abuse, driving across the park, or anything like that will be banned from the club. That's a strong and responsible stance. And while we're on the topic of park access and responsibility, I want to remind all clubs, in particular the gardening club that I know have had some recent issues, that access through the gates should be limited to members of their own clubs only. No exceptions to this. And this is just a side point. It may be worth us considering some signage to reinforce this. The coaches are currently parked at a friend of the chairman's premises. There are talks ongoing with Sandhurst School, instigated by Councillor Diane Wilson, to park the coaches at the school, but nothing has been confirmed yet. By the way, thanks for that, Diane. That's really great. The club also highlighted that there is a message on their website asking people to park responsibly for their home games. Kane is actively trying to address any issues and encourages an open dialogue with the club. And likewise, I think I said at the last meeting, I will also have an open dialogue and I want to hear about issues and concerns. But there is a bigger issue here as well. We are only hearing about the complaints. We are not hearing about the good, and there is a lot of it. Millions of pounds have been invested into a ground that is now unique in the UK. It brings us a higher level of football to Sandhurst. The majority of attendees at games are local. Every time I've been to a game, the atmosphere has been superb, family friendly, safe, and full of joy. Children are allowed on the pitch at full time. They love it. It gives them somewhere to go, something to be a part of. And I've already said this tonight, and this is something I feel really strongly about, but in an age where I feel community and going out is diminishing, I feel that having something to be a part of is vital. Behind the scenes, the club is doing extraordinary community work, quietly, without shouting about it, but I think it's time we acknowledged it. And honestly, I had to drag this out of the club. So since May, through the SB community programme, 1,000 children have had safe access to football every week at Bottom Meadow. 4 tons of food have been donated to Bracknell Food Bank in exchange for free season tickets. They have pledged to raise £20,000 for a new food bank van. They've offered 200 free places for a summer holiday camp. Free weekly football for 50 children on Friday nights. Free sessions for adults and children in the community, including those in social care. Wellbeing sessions, including school partnerships and work with sport in mind. This is not a club that divides. It's a club that builds, that gives back, that creates joy, belonging, and opportunity. So let's try and change some of the narrative around this. Let's support the elements that are working, and let's be proud of what's happening at Bottom Meadow for Sandhurst and for the future of our community. Right, I now welcome questions then, or comments or statements or abuse.
Not going to be abusive. I guess because I know members of the public can't speak at this meeting.
So I can't.
Sorry, you can't hear you.
Oh, I can't hear you. I'd like me to be quiet, isn't it? As members of the public can't speak at this meeting, I think it was at the full town council when it was brought about the issues with noise pollution, people moving out that live adjacent to the ground, the drums, the litter, the fallout at the end of matches, the parking issues and what have you. What could, Dale, are we offering in response to those residents' concerns? I agree with you. There's a lot of really good positives there. Some might call it spin. Far be it from me to suggest that's what that is. But what, how do we, does it address what you just read? How does it placate the issues that were brought by residents at the last meeting? Because that, to my mind, it sounds like they still exist.
I mean, yeah, it's a good question. And I think you'll note that right at the beginning, I didn't dismiss, and I want to stress to you residents, I'm not dismissing any issues, complaints, concerns, and I invite you to bring them to me, to the council. Kane himself is more than, the chairman is more than open to receiving these. I think what I've talked about is how we are taking those seriously. We are looking at those. I mean, I didn't say, but there's a lot of things that, you know, they are trying to remedy around the parking, around the coaches, you know. There is a lot of good done. There are issues. There are going to be issues with something of this size.
Yeah.
So it's about having an open conversation with the residents that are having issues and making sure that, you know, that the chairman of the club is doing his best to meet them.
Great. So I guess what I'm asking you is what's the modus operandi for a resident to get engaged in a way that's like an open forum where conversation can be had? Because if they're coming to you, Dale, and then you go to Kane, sorry, Graham, I beg your pardon, I'm so sorry. You're both so, you know, so alike. You both look so young.
Can you leave the meeting?
My wife has the same problem.
It's getting late.
You definitely leave them. No,
My point.
I hear your point. I hear your point.
And there's dialogue. And
I would engage. I would ask people, reach out to me honestly. You know, my contact details are on the website. Please do reach out to your local councillors, because these points will be raised and they will be discussed. Any issues, as I said, we will offer the club the chance to handle the issues. If we feel that, you know, they aren't being dealt with properly, then you know, we'll go from there. But I think that's pretty much all I can say at the moment. Nikki.
Yeah, so residents did reach out to me, and I come to you and ask for this to be an open discussion, and that was declined.
Nikki, it wasn't declined. What we said was we give the club the opportunity to meet, where we raise all of the issues, and then they say to us how they're going to deal with it. We do the same for every single club on the park. And we're not trying to keep it from anyone. It's not behind closed doors, because, you know, we're happy to come and talk about it. But the first,
So I'd put across months ago suggestion about the club and the coaches parking, and maybe getting in touch with Hodges coaches. That hadn't happened, but now it's well done, Diane, and genuinely well done.
But Nikki, that
But
was,
that
that
was only something that was discussed after remembrance, so that wasn't what was discussed in your meeting with the football club.
the Hodges, it was a decision, or whoever, wherever the football club decides to, arrange parking with, is their decision. And they chose not to take that up. You know that I put that to Kane because we had dialogue about that.
But that's what
And then
I'm saying.
that's up to the football clubs. They haven't taken that up with Hodges because they didn't see it as a viable option. They have seen the school as a viable option and are currently talking about it. But that's all up to them. That's not led by us. Both of your suggestions were put to them.
So I would say that shows
Sorry,
a lack of consideration
from to the meeting.
They were invited to the
Oh.
meeting, yeah.
a lack of consideration from them.
Lee,
Thank you. I just want to make a number of statements. First of all, in relation to the invitation to the meeting. We felt very strongly that this should be an official meeting, not something that was informal. This was about council business that affects all of our residents. And as such, it should be held here at the council offices, not down at Bottom Meadow, with it being hosted by the renter, who has caused our community a lot of unhappiness. The fact that it wasn't an official meeting, the fact that it wasn't going to be minuted when it was in specific reaction to issues that our residents have raised, added to the fact that the chairman of the club has openly been incredibly rude about me and my colleagues on social media, meant that it wasn't a meeting that we could attend down at his ground that he rents from us. That meeting should have been held here, and that's why we declined it. Now, you talk about bring your queries to us, bring your complaints to us. This has been going on for as long as I've been a councillor. This is not new. So you can stand there and give the PR pitch for the amazing things that the club is doing. But if they truly cared about what they did here, they've had ample time to make a difference so that our residents wouldn't be negatively impacted. And that's all we want to do, is improve from our residents where they are negatively impacted. And we don't see anything that they are doing to alleviate that. And that's all I'm going to say.
okay, well,
So
hang on. No, I'm going to come back to that first because, again, and we are not going to treat any club on the park differently. If there are issues with, well, you can make comments and faces like that, but it's the truth, Lee. It is the truth. We will treat every club the same. If there are issues, we will give them the chance to deal with the issues politely in a meeting. It wasn't an informal meeting.
It certainly was. Those were the words that the EO used. This was an informal meeting.
Well,
Informal means it's not minuted. And as other people around the table will be aware that aren't councillors, I've had informal meetings in the past with the allotments and with the SRA. This is something that we do.
Not have been an informal meeting. It should have been minuted. It was absolutely should have been minuted. It
Can I just
should have
ask a
been-
question? Was the meeting of the SRA when we talked about joint methods which you proposed, was that a minuted meeting? Did you demand that to this meeting?
I haven't attended an SRA meeting.
Well, there must have been a meeting discussing the joint letters that we put in.
Yeah,
Was that the same?
sorry,
what the council insert into the magazine? That's so.
it's covered a committee meeting.
I tell you what, guys, look, I'm going to say this.
It wasn't.
The standard practice that we do is when there are issues with a club, is we meet with them. Now, you raised the issues, so the invitation was extended, and for whatever reasons you declined to attend that, which you've given, and you've given your reasons why. So we accept that. So we held the meeting, and we are doing our best to alleviate.
We asked you to
The
move it to
issues.
here so we could attend, and that was declined.
Yeah, and there were reasons.
Had been held here, it would have attended, but it was declined to be moved, so.
The other clubs.
Okay, well,
So-
I'd hoped from what I read out that we might focus away from this negativity of and focus on, yes, the issues which we would like to resolve,
I don't see those issues being addressed here.
but I would also, and it is not a PR exercise. The club, no, it does not sound like a PR exercise. I'm reading out genuine things that have been done that I've had to almost wrestle out. I've been down to the games myself and I've seen the atmosphere down there and the community spirit. So I personally believe it's a good thing. Now, the residents, I want everyone to be happy as possible. So I'm happy to deal with their issues and try our best. But I'm not enjoying the huge negativity and nervousness all around this.
Great. Can I just say, I don't think it's negativity. I think what we're trying to drive is balance. Totally respect great things the club is doing, but it feels like there was an imbalance in what you've just shared, that there was a lot of positivity, but not much attention to the key issues raised by residents. Not negativity, they're issues that need to be resolved, and it's about finding a way that works. And I think what we're trying to put forward is that's done in a formal way.
But I would say to that, and I feel like it's literally just everyone against me, and I
Well, you
take
brought
no
the-
decision in this.
The information items, so I
I
think
brought
it's
the information, but I feel like I'm
challenge.
getting it here. But I would say that most of the meetings that I've been at since becoming a councillor on the council again has been negativity around the club. I've seen very few times when people have spoken positively, and I think that there is a lot of positivity done around it. So I welcome your idea of balance, but at the moment I see a hell of a lot of negativity.
Challenge.
Sorry?
Challenge. Negativity is a word.
Yeah.
It's challenge. There are challenges as well as the good things for people in the community that we need to be clearly addressing. And it didn't feel to me what you just shared with us had a balance, is my position. So I'm not being negative. I'm not having a go at you. I'm just giving you an alternative point of view as a response.
Okay.
Uh, sorry, I think I have my hand up first.
Oh, she
Nick,
needs hand
Nick,
sound.
I've had your hand up for ages. Nick. Sorry, Nicky, please.
I just want to comment that I know that they were complaining about drumming going on the football ground and bottom meadow. Does that happen at all matches, or is it just Bracknell
Yes.
Town?
It happens at every game. It's not just Bracknell. The opposition come with drums as well.
Okay, so it's a football thing.
It's horrible. I hate it. To be honest, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's every football.
I would stress, I'm not trying to, I don't want to come up with fob offs or anything like
I
that.
didn't know. I didn't know whether it was specific to
Football
a
is nice.
team or.
No,
It's a nationwide thing.
General thing. Okay, thank you. Just wanted to know.
So I just want to check with you then, because if you're saying that you're addressing these issues that have come to you, I know the number of times that cars driving over the park have been reported. So what's happening from there? Because residents are saying it's a very regular occurrence. It's actually very rare that you'll get a week where a car isn't doing it. And one of the most concerning times was that it was a Saturday lunchtime during August. How busy is the park? We have to keep our residents' children, safety in our forefront.
What I would say to that is then that I need it reported to me personally so that I can look at the CCTV, as I did in the incident you're talking about and the police are involved in.
Yeah.
So I've not heard of any more since that one in August. I've not been informed
There was
of
one-
anyone driving across the park by anyone after that.
And
So if they are happening, we need to know, because we can look at the CCTV and we take it from there.
and anyone
There was one
and anyone
2 days
Right.
after.
and anyone
So I
identified
wasn't informed.
doing that will be banned permanently from the club, and that is what the chairman told us at the meeting. Well, they'll be arrested, obviously, but they will have a permanent ban. Sorry, Chris had his hand up.
Yes, just to question one of the points that you made, Graham, was that all of the clubs should be treated the same. And one of the points you made was that the parking beyond the barrier is for members of those clubs only and nobody else. Is that the case for?
I didn't say that. It was that for.
Can you rephrase what you did say then? Because that's what I took from.
No, I just said it's about letting people in through the gates. That's what I said. People should only let people from their own clubs through that. I didn't say anything about whether or not it was their parking. So I said, basically, I reminded, I've got it written here. I said, I want to remind all clubs, in particular the gardening club that have had some recent issues, that access through the gates should be limited to members of their own clubs only.
Access on foot or in vehicle?
No, it's through the vehicles. Through the, they open the barrier, and I do. The reason why I said about the signage there is because I do think that we should maybe, and this is for a separate meeting agenda item, just say that people there can say, I'm only allowed to let in people from my own club. You're not from my own club. If you've got a problem, there's the sign.
Town Football Club, that only their members can do that.
It's not members, because, no, it's not, because the gardening club let in people to the trading hut that aren't necessarily members of the gardening club, but they're under their control.
They're not members.
You don't have to be a member.
Well,
But it is under their control. So if the gardening club are controlling the facility, they let people in that are coming to the trading hut. Bracknell or Sandhurst or whoever from Bottom Meadow is manning the gate, let people in coming to their facility. The allotments let people in for their facility, and so on.
It's a fair,
etc.
It's a fair catch, though, Chris.
They're responsible for their activity.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fair catch.
Yeah.
I should have said that anyone linked to their
And
club
likewise
rather
for
than
contractors, you know, if let's say the allotments have some work going on, and like your Project Flush, and they've got contractors coming in and out,
yes.
it's their responsibility to let their people in.
But what about people who are not connected with the club?
Oh, are you going now? Alistair, are you going?
Yeah, I've got to disappear because I've got to drive to Chesterfield. I will contact you directly.
I was going to give you one moment to say
Well,
something. Actually.
Okay, if you want me to say something, I'll say something now before I've got to go for a 3-hour drive. So, very quickly, the points that I made.
Hang on.
So,
I have to suspend the meeting.
Standing orders.
Standing orders for a minute. We wouldn't normally do this, but because you came to the last meeting, I think it's fair for me to give you the opportunity to say something before you go.
Proposing to suspend standing orders.
Yes, can I propose?
Second.
Seconded. Right, everyone vote. In favour? Against? Abstain? Okay, sorry. Yeah, I would
no,
like.
that's great. You've got to do council business, right? So, that's what you're waiting to do. Couple of points and couple of observations. So one, I do owe you an email and some pieces. I just haven't spoken to all the residents at the moment in time because I'm working with everything's going on. What I'm actually disappointed in listening to tonight, and the club may bring some positives. A couple of points in there. There was a lot about Bracknell positives. What about for the community in Sandhurst, the teams, the clubs, etc.? Because I see an awful lot of EPC teams playing up there and EPC kids, but I don't see things for Sandhurst, number one. So what's it actually bringing to the community of Sandhurst is number point. Second point I'm going to make on it is that this isn't about, these are consequences in terms of what the residents are suffering from a decision that was made to allow the team to take up residence. And that is they are a symptom, what we've got is symptoms of that decision. And that decision was made without consultation of the surrounding areas and the surrounding residents. And that is the biggest problem. That has what we're getting is the consequences of that decision. That needs to be addressed. That's my point. So I am very disappointed that that isn't the piece that's focused on. You're just dealing with the results. You're not dealing with the symptoms. All right.
Okay, so your concern is around the consultation before the decision rather than necessarily the issue.
We stopped with the decision. All right, you're stuck with the decision. You've got 30-year lease for the team. So whatever the development does and the great and the things like different community, that's great. All of that stuff, the £1 million pitch, I love it. I'm a football man as well. And we suffer the consequences, all right? The light, the noise, etc. All right, you're not going to silence supporters, they're going to be there. You can't do much about it. We can say you can't use drums, or you can't shout out, or you can't cheer a goal. No one's saying that. But we are suffering the results of it, all right? So yes, if at the beginning everybody had been consulted and knew what was coming, you probably would have got residents saying, no, thank you. Right? All right, and that's the point. No one was consulted.
Okay, but I mean,
That's a fact.
that's a fact.
It's
So
fact,
there's
it's a
nothing, I can't go back in time and change that. All I can do is look at these issues and try and remedy them. So
Right.
from my point of view, I'm kind of asking you, what's the ask?
Well, the ask for me is, just as a council, all right, remember who you are there representing. It's the residents and the people, right? They should come first and they should be consulted when it's a major decision like this. We've got the result. We cannot do anything about it. That noise and that light's going to stay. Right, and as they get promoted or they go up or more games are played there, it's just going to be a happen. It's going to happen, and people will move, right? Because they bought the houses that didn't have that before, right? And I'll be one of them, which will be a shame, but I will be, all right? But it's the look at the council to look at themselves and never make that mistake again. That's my ask: is to never do that again. If a major decision of something like this that's going to affect so many, right? You really need to bring up and talk to the residents. And remember, it's them you are really best serving best interest for. They voted you in to do that. Honour it.
Okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. That's, you know, sorry.
Like between the resident and the council.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, okay. I invited comment. That's fair enough. If you could send me the email, that would be,
Will do. I'll speak to all the residents when they get back this weekend.
okay.
Okay. Thank you for allowing me to speak, by the way, and thank you for making an exception. All right. Have a great evening, everybody.
Yeah, okay. Let's reinstate standing orders. Can I have a seconder?
Yeah.
All in favour? Okay.
Sorry,
Definitely John has had his hand up.
Interrupted in my,
Okay.
you were talking about the car parking for clubs. And I accept Angie's comment that contractors and other people who are involved with those clubs, so in the case of the football club, things to do with the football, putting up lighting, I don't know, catering and things to do with the club.
It's any visitor to the club.
For any purpose, because I see that
Yeah.
the club's grounds are now being used as a conference centre. And so there'll be a number of people arriving there who are not anything to do with football or be learning on there. Or are they?
Well, they will be made day members, so in effect, they are to do with the football club. But it is, as I already explained, like if sorry to keep going back to the allotments, but you're the only one here, Phil. But when Phil has his open days, he invites people to go down there, so they are his visitors.
Not just a general purpose conference centre, for things that have nothing to do with it.
Well, that's another subject.
I think it's important because it's a change of use from being a football ground for people to watch football to being a conference centre. It's a different use.
Okay.
Probably going to be quieter, to be fair.
Okay, let's move on to, oh, sorry, John's had his hand up for ages, everyone. So I'm going to give John the opportunity to talk.
Thank you. I think the club brings a lot of benefits. I do hear what residents are saying about noise and parking, but I think there have been efforts to counter that. So there was a survey done about the traffic the club implemented. I think the parking has got better. The club has put in a new car park, which will alleviate cars as well.
Subject to planning commission.
The chairman, yeah, but I think you're opposing that planning commission. So that makes me think that it's a vendetta, because even when the club does something to alleviate the problems, you still go out and oppose those. And that's my problem is when they're building, spending £100,000 of their money on a car park to alleviate parking issues, you're still objecting to it. And that's where I start thinking, is this actually about this, or is this being politicised?
It's absolutely bad.
Sorry, I've got let John finish, please.
His voice back. So.
Please, John.
So and the chairman came down, I think a year ago or so, and did a consultation with residents, which the residents were entitled to. So this was to attend, which was very well attended. But how we deal with this is by respecting our stakeholders in this park. We don't set up meetings and then not turn up to them. However, whatever those reasons are, we've got to be collaborative with those. Chair, can you please intervene?
Please, can we keep comments down? John.
Well, I'm just going back to your point, Graham, where you said about
Sorry.
the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I just want let people.
You ask for respect.
Yeah, respect, but from all of us, please, John, continue.
So that's how we sort it out, by collaborating with people. And I think it does bring lots of, there's this thing that we did this without consultating the residents. But there are loads of benefits to the residents. It's a brand new facility. I went down there, new 3G edge, 1,000 kids out there. You should see it, the facilities look amazing. It's a non-league club, but it looks like a league football team. It's all brand new. The kids, when they run out there, look absolutely ecstatic. And they are inspired. And even Councillor Craig earlier said there's not enough for young people to do in this area. Well, thousands of them are going to this football. Hundreds of them are attending the matches free. It's a great thing for families to do. And not only that, all these facilities, I believe it's my understanding, are the property of Sandhurst Town Council when eventually Bracknell Town go back to Bracknell.
Yeah.
So there's been millions of pounds worth of investment down there. We are losing the plot. Towns across the country would be crying out for a facility like this. And we've lost all perspective. I know there are problems and we can deal with those by being collaborative with the stakeholder. But we've got to look at the positives as well and what positives is bringing to Sandhurst. Because at the moment, I think they're actually being misled by unfortunately, the Lib Dems politicising it, which I think is a great shame.
Let's be careful about that side. I don't think we want to be saying that, John. I think I hear you, but I don't think we want to be maybe pointing fingers quite like that. And I want to stress that I don't want to belittle any resident concerns. I know you might I'm incredibly pro the football club. I believe it brings a lot to Sandhurst, but I'm not belittling the issues and the concerns that you have. I want to stress that. I should maybe have stressed that more before I spoke. Sorry, Dale did have his hand raised personally, but I will give you a chance to come back.
Actually, no, Chairman. I think we've all had the chance to listen to the results of a meeting you were able to have to pass on residents and the councillors' concerns over the issues that were raised. And as we have discovered, it's likely to be an ongoing need to meet regularly. And as long as we have this dialogue, I think that is a positive thing. And interestingly, the amount of things that the SB group do for the communities in which they're involved comes from the chairman's own background. His parents were carers at Churchill House in Bracknell. And so he comes from a history of community-centred support for people of all ages. So I absolutely commend to people the need, if they think things are getting excessive and out of hand, that we report it carefully to yourself, to the executive officer, etc., and we take appropriate action. But as it was an information item about the meeting, and I think everybody's had the opportunity, I think we should move on, Chair.
just want to specifically counter the two things that were said about me that are wrong.
I will give you the opportunity as the final point, and then we will move on. I will let
I'm
Lee-
spoken, yeah.
I'm really sorry, Phil. Let's let Lee have the last point, and then we will move on, because originally I had planned to just, unless everyone feels that we should keep going, but I think Lee, yeah. But this was, and to be honest, this was kind of why, and I wasn't being dictatorship. This was kind of why I didn't overly what I wanted to kind of read and then move on, but it's fair to give everyone a chance. Sorry, Lee, if you want to
Saying you
respond.
just, you talked about commenting on social media and being factually correct and truthful. I didn't not turn up to the meeting that I'd set up. I didn't set the meeting up. And I specifically asked for it to be moved, and then I advised them that we wouldn't be attending because it wasn't moved. So that's very, very different from not turning up. And secondly, your assumption that I am objecting to the creation of football, the additional parking. I haven't raised any objections online. If you look at the planning portal, you'll see that there are, at my last look, 13 residents that have objected. I'm not one of them. If you were to ask me my opinion, my concern is the access to the car park and the further commercialisation of the park. That is my concern, and how additional cars would go get there. But you're just assuming. Next time, perhaps you'd afford me the courtesy of asking me.
Let's now.
Because I saw it.
Sorry.
Move on. Move on.
Let's please move on, everyone. This is okay. Agenda item number 12: press and publication for the plan.
I have nothing to add to the board plan.
Sorry, I've got to go and see my carer because they are leaving.
Item number 12: press and publication for the plan. To review and add leisure elements to press and publication for the plan as required, and to receive an update on this press article released by Sandhurst Town Council.
I'm not aware of any, unless anyone has anything they'd like to request.
Okay, agenda item number 13: councillor reports.
Well, the only thing I'd like to say, and it's, I'm chair of trustees at the day centre, we've got our new bus. It was arrived last week. And thanks to all the trustees and the residents who've actually helped the money for this bus. It's lovely, isn't it?
It's lovely, very
Beautiful bus.
Seen
Well, thank you to Councillor Brossard, because he's the one that did all the run around finding it.
He's not listening to you.
I know he's not. I just thanked you.
Thanks. Just seeing how marvellous it is.
Sorry.
Vicky.
Nothing from me, thank you.
No,
Not from me, thank you.
Chris. John. I do actually have something to report, which again, I'm extremely proud of. My Sandhurst school played against the Oratory, which some of you may know is a public school over in Reading, and Sandhurst under 14s are playing in the Rugby County Cup, traditionally dominated by public schools. And it was the quarterfinals. They won the previous round and they won 45-5, which is absolute stuffing. So I'm extremely proud for a couple of reasons, because when I was a lad, that would have never happened. And public schools, as I said, kind of owned that space. But Sandhurst and their coach are phenomenal. So that's my one bit of news. hopefully I'll have more good news in the future. Right. Moving on to receive an update from the sports club.
So Liz has sent the report via Nikki, so I'm happy to read that out. If you're happy with it?
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, so the sports club update, bar update. We've had a really good couple of months at the bar. Memberships are going strong. It's been great to see people getting involved. Our Oktoberfest night was a big hit, with lots of members coming along and enjoying themselves. The Halloween disco for our younger members was also a great success and full of energy. The firework event went really well for us too. We were incredibly busy. Huge thank you to STC staff who worked so hard to keep everything running smoothly and gave us a hand on the night. We've got plenty happening in the run up to Christmas with a few events planned. We're looking forward to including a visit from Father Christmas. Unfortunately, we haven't had time to look at the CCTV yet, but it's on our list and we'll get to it as soon as we can. We would like to request having better lighting installed on the outside of our entrance as it's very dark. We're unsure who we need to speak to about permission for this. Also, the slabs outside the public toilets appear to be lifted and may need to be looked at, as a couple of us have tripped. That's their report.
Marvellous. Moving on to the Sandhurst Residents Association.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our new magazine comes out, it goes to print next week. All completed. SRA lately has just been about the magazine. We are, of course, more than that. And we are somewhere like yourselves where residents come to if they have problems. I won't stoke the fire of the football club anymore. Just say, perhaps they could be a little more aware of their neighbours. Leave it at that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks. And sporting clubs, we have cricket club.
Hello everyone. So I've just been elected chairman of the cricket club, so I'm hello everyone. Thank you. A very brief, mercifully brief update from me. Obviously we're in the middle of our closed season. The first thing to say is the renovations of the square look like they've gone absolutely brilliantly, and I just want to express the gratitude of the club for all of your support in that. Obviously, it's early to say how well they've gone until we go out and bowl the first ball come April, but it looks like it's been done in a highly professional fashion, so we're very, very grateful. We had a problem around the firework night bar license, which was deeply unfortunate. We put ours in after the sports club, and for some reason, the licensing authority felt that because we both put the Memorial Park, they couldn't grant 2 licenses. So they turned it down literally the day before.
And that'll be why I was so busy on the bar.
Yeah. So when we went on and saw there were 10,000 people and looked at your bar,
It's a shame.
You should have done what Sheffield you were on, shouldn't you?
We've got a couple of events coming up, particularly a Christmas party, which we hope will go quite well. And the biggest element for us for the next couple of months is getting our scoreboard repaired. So we've raised funds for that. We think we've got enough. Early view of our budget for next year, unfortunately, means we are running at a deficit of about 2K at the moment. So we're trying to work out how we're going to fill that revenue gap. But that's it from me.
Just one thing. I remember I went to a quiz night down there and it was brilliant fun.
We are going to do more of those quiz nights during the close season.
Cool. And advertising it so we know about it.
Yeah. Yeah, getting the word out there.
Yeah.
In Sandhurst Residents magazine.
For sure.
Marvellous. Phil?
Yeah, it's great to follow the cricket club because some of your topsoil ended up in the allotment, and hopefully it will produce volumes of sprouts and such good things. It's good stuff. I guess the key point about the allotment is that the 1st of November is the point that people decide or not decide to renew their membership. We have 56 plots and 3 raised beds, and everybody except for 2 renewed this year, which means that we were able to call forward 2 people off our waiting list, and they'd waited about 18 months to 2 years for a plot, so they were happy to get that. And we still have a waiting list of at least 5 others, and I guess they're going to have to wait 2 years because I don't see any change in the immediate future. Next big event is a wassailing, when we chase away the darkness of winter and encourage spring to return. Bless our apple trees, and that takes place on the 10th of January. We have the Kennet Morris men that come along to that, and that's always a thoroughly raucous and very, very noisy. I better warn the neighbours event, and it's very colourful. And consumption of cider probably goes off the roof. And with regard to Project Flatfoot, we have submitted a grant request to the town council for about £600 to allow us to further the path by another 25 metres. That will take it halfway, and we'd hope to try and get that done before winter really sets in. Life in the allotments is really chilled out at this time of year. There's a pun there. Okay.
I got
That's all you did.
I got the pun.
And that's me.
Marvellous. Have I missed anybody? I don't think so. Oh, hang on. Jonathan, did you? Oh,
Sorry, I'm not Jonathan. I'm just
I thought you're the scout crew. Oh, you're supposed to come and sit at the
Yeah.
table.
Exactly will, thank you. Sorry, I didn't realise.
Sorry, I didn't realise you were here. For
No.
Scouts. I thought you were here supporting Chris.
Chris certainly didn't miss this. We first time Scouts have been to these meetings for a while. We certainly haven't given an update, so we're going to try and come more regularly. And I'm the nominated representative.
Lucky you.
Lucky me. So just an update, we have currently 68 young people, so that's ranging from the ages of 4 to 14 and a half, just in Sandhurst, and we're one of 3 scout groups in Ellesmere and Sandhurst, and they're all doing astonishingly well. We have waiting lists that we don't have enough spaces for, which is great. We also, our Scout Hub, we're hosting the Explorer group, which is, trying to think of the ages, 14 and a half to 18 years. So trying to provide more activities for that sort of age group as well. Really productive and community building activities. We have contributed to some of the more national scouting events this year, which is JT and JOTA, which is, you may have heard of them if you've heard of scouting. They're sort of all over the place, but they're international and national events. They use like radio waves, and like they set up big radio stations in the hut, and it's great. It's really engaging for the young people, and we get all of the groups within Bracknell Forest and other parts of Buck together at hut over the summer. We're also planning a huge family camp next year to try and drive adult leadership from parents. So we want to get some new leaders into our group, and that's one of the areas that we're really struggling with, is some leaders for our Cubs section. The other sections that tend to be okay, but Cubs are really struggling. And it would be a shame to close Cubs because it's the middle section. That would be a real loss. We also have a really successful squirrels unit, which is 4 to 6 year olds, something that Scouting had only recently put in place a couple of years ago. Second Sandhurst and Ellesmere now also have them, but it's getting real very small children into Scouting earlier. And I volunteered in it, my son now goes, and it's wonderful. So if any of you wanted to volunteer, that I would go. It's just great. Financially, as a Scout group, and I think this is shared with some of the other Scout groups as well, we are just about breaking even between increased costs with the national membership for the Scout Association and all the other costs that are going up, electricity and building maintenance. And we don't want to increase our subs to members to a point where they're unaffordable. We are one of the cheaper, nice extracurricular activities, but still it needs to be accessible to all. So we will be looking for grants, Tesco grants, etc. this year to try and boost our funds. We need some repairs desperately in our Scout hut with our for our toilets. They've been updated since I think the hut was built. We need insulation and heating to try and keep the electricity costs down. So so we'll be pushing for any financial support next year. And any more volunteers, as I say, anyone's interested, even if you've just got something interesting to share for a meeting that you think could entertain some young people, then please let me know, because we're desperate for any sort of help. Thank you.
Marvellous.
I'll go back.
No, you can stay there. You're part of the meeting. So
2 minutes.
yeah. Did you want to say anything?
No, I mean, now obviously, now I'm undergoing my second cancer treatment. Unfortunately, I have stepped down from the club. So I'm now just a loyal fan, which is why I'm sitting here and a Sandhurst resident. Hopefully, maybe next year when I'm better.
Good. Brilliant.
Wish you well.
Wish you good luck with that, of course. Okay, dokes. Let's move on. So the good news is the next meeting is confirmed as the 22nd of January 2026. Thank you very much, everyone. Drive safely. It's very, very, very cold outside.
Last stage.
Thank you very much.